What's up, guys? Welcome to Bobby's World, and welcome to my review of WWE Extreme Rules 2016. If you missed last night's show, it was what it was. Yeah, there were some good matches on there, some surprises which we'll get into, but other than that, it was pretty much what you expect from Extreme Rules. If you have any questions or comments, they can be directed at Bobby's World 10 on Twitter or the Bobby's World YouTube Facebook page, which I'll leave that information somewhere. Okay, let's get right into it. Of course, there was the kickoff show, the obligatory kickoff show. And the obligatory Extreme Rules panel was Renee Young and Corey Graves, of course, along with Booker T and the King Jerry Lawler. Paige and Becky Lynch were invited up to analyze the WWE Women's Championship match between Charlotte and Natalya, which I thought was cool. They brought a couple divas up there. My signal kicked out on me toward the end of that part where Paige and Becky Lynch were up there talking about what was going to happen in the match. So my signal kicked out, and when it came back, the Dudleys were in the ring, getting the crowd to chant ECW, and then they took credit for killing ECW when they left. Which, I mean, I'm sure it contributed. The Dudleys were one of ECW's bigger acts, and when they left, undoubtedly it hurt the company, as I'm sure it did when Taz left and when everybody left. But so the Dudleys are in the ring doing this tirade, and then Big Cass comes out and interrupts it. Big Cass said that Bubba Ray won't tell Devon to get the tables because Bubba ate the table and everything. Pretty humorous quip there. There was a skirmish between the two sides. Big Cass got the better of two of them. The crowd was chanting for Enzo, but that didn't happen. I guess Enzo's still on the show. Maybe he'll come back tonight. I don't know. We'll see. Miz did an interview where they shot it like a movie, and Maurice was acting as director. She was like, "Take one," and then I forgot what he was trying to imitate. He said in the interview what he was trying to imitate, but it didn't happen that way. He did his interview. He did this little take that he was doing, and then he left the interview part, and then he came back in and he goes, "I think I can do it better." So they did take two, and he did it more dramatically. It was actually kind of comical. Booker T laughed nearly all the way through the next segment they were on. It was pretty good. I have to give Miz credit. Miz is a good promo and a decent wrestler. He doesn't get enough credit for that, but yeah, definitely a funny part. Then they went to Rusev in the social media lounge with Lana, and they asked some questions from Twitter and other places, but Rusev was already claiming that he was the United States champion. Said his mother had already congratulated him. That's pretty ballsy. Well, I guess one way you could look at it, ballsy, but we'll get to that match, of course. And then Dolph Ziggler faced Baron Corbin. I don't see much in Baron Corbin. I really don't. I'm sorry. I just don't. He just doesn't appeal to me, I guess. Dolph Ziggler, on the other hand, everyone knows has been wasted and continues to be wasted. And I'm so sick of Ziggler versus Corbin, so I hope this is the end of it. But Corbin won after a low blow in the end of days. Ziggler sold that low blow better than I've seen anyone in a long time. It seems like a small thing, but how many times in wrestling have we seen someone take a low blow and then, like 10 seconds later, they're on their feet? Yeah, that's not how that works. Any man in the world will tell you that's not how that works. Yeah, you were hurting for at least 5 minutes, if not 10 or 15. So, yeah, Ziggler doing what he does best. And then we get on to the main show. The Club, Anderson and Gallows, took on the Usos in the first match, tornado tag style, which means all four guys were in the ring at the same time. The crowd was booing the Usos after being popular for so long, I'm sure because of their allegiance to Roman Reigns, and the fact that Anderson and Gallows are pretty hot right now. Anderson and Gallows won after Jey Uso missed a splash off the top rope, landed on the ring bell that Gallows had brought into the ring, and then they hit the magic, whatever it's called, on him. This match was okay. If I had to rate it out of 5 stars, I would have rated it 3. It was what it was. But Anderson and Gallows winning was pretty much expected and important, so good for them. Then came the United States title match between Kalisto and Rusev. Rusev, I think, Rusev obviously was getting pushed when he first came in. He was undefeated for like a year. I think he deserves a bigger push. I think Rusev is one of the bigger big men I've seen come along in quite some time. I mean, he can wrestle, he can sell. He's very quick on his feet. I just think he's a good all around performer. He's obviously John Cena stopped that run in WrestleMania when they fought, and he beat him for the U.S. title. There was a spot. Yeah, there was a spot when Kalisto was on top rope and Rusev caught him before he could jump, and he threw him not into the ring, but on the ring apron just outside the ropes, which everyone knows is the hardest part of the ring because there's no give there. It's just like a steel beam going across. And it was brutal. And Kalisto, the doctor actually came out. I don't know if it was. I'm pretty sure it was the way it was supposed to be. Pretty sure it was the story. The doctor came out to check on Kalisto. Rusev kept throwing people away. It was stupid. It was so stupid. The referee kept trying to stop Rusev from getting to Kalisto. And why should Rusev stop? The match hasn't been stopped. He hasn't heard a bell. There's no reason for him to stop. He kept shoving the referee and the doctors aside, and finally got Kalisto in the ring. He put on the accolade that looked every bit as nasty as the one he did on Raw. And Kalisto pretty much tapped out immediately. I would give this one another 3 out of 5 stars. It was pretty good. It wasn't great. The next matchup was the WWE Tag Team title match between the New Day and the Vaudevillains. I'm not sold on the Vaudevillains either. They're decent wrestlers. They're good wrestlers, but I'm just not sold on them as an act, as a team. Of course, the New Day is still hot. New Day won after Kofi got in a kick from the outside. He was not wrestling this night. It was Xavier Woods and Big E representing the New Day. So Kofi got in a kick from the outside, and Woods hit the Shining Wizard. The fast-paced ending finally got the crowd into it. The crowd had been mostly blah, whatever. But that was the first sign that I saw that the crowd was starting to get into things. AJ Styles did an interview, declared he would be world champion, and then he walked right into the club's dressing room. Shocker there. Fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship. The Miz versus Cesaro versus Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. This was pretty much picked to be the match of the night, if not Reigns versus Styles. It was a damn good match. It took a little bit to get going, but Zayn ran across the ring to start the match and booted Owens in the face with a haluva kick and knocked him out. And then the other 3 were just standing there looking at each other. Like, whoa, that escalated quickly. And then for a while it was 3, and then after that, someone got knocked out. It was down to 2. I can't remember which one it was. There was a series of high spots toward the end where just everyone was hitting big moves, and then I thought Miz had it. He hit Cesaro with the skull crushing finale, but Cesaro kicked out. Cesaro had Miz in the sharpshooter, and Miz got to the ropes to Maurice. He couldn't break it getting to the ropes anyway, but Maurice grabbed his arms. Cesaro pulled Miz back in, which pulled Maurice into the ring, and then Maurice had the referee distracted, and Miz was tapping out. No one saw it, and of course, the sharpshooter got broken up. Zayn was Sami Zayn hit a thing where he came off the ropes and he did a rolling. I don't know what the move is called, to be honest with you. And in essence, it's a sunset flip, but he rolled up Cesaro and spun over the top of him and came down the back, and the crowd popped big for it and got a very long 2 count. The crowd was really into this one. They were really, really popping big toward the end of this match. Zayn had another near fall, and Owens pulled him off. So Zayn turned his attention to him on the outside. They started fighting, and then Miz came in and stole the pinfall. So Miz is still the Intercontinental Champion. I would give this one 5 stars. This match was good. It was really, really good, especially toward the end. And then we get into the first ever Asylum match between Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho. I listened to Solid Monster's podcast, his review of Extreme Rules before I did this, and I absolutely agree with him that the match went way too long. And if you watch the match, it's almost like, I think the match went like 25 minutes. It's almost like these two were given that time, and then it's almost like they, as they were talking about the match backstage, like, I don't know what to do for 25 minutes. I don't know how we can stretch this out. So there's long stretches of match where they're just walking around and doing whatever. It was weird. Chris Jericho, one of my favorites of all time. There's a lot of comedy spots in this match that made this match a lot less serious than I think it should have been, but Jericho was just comical. He spent the first part of the match trying to escape the cage any way possible, even though that wasn't the rules. It wasn't a typical steel cage match where you escape the cage to win. It was the steel cage, and there was all kinds of weapons hanging from the top, like a leather strap, a mop, and a bucket, straight jacket, fire extinguisher, kendo stick. There's all kinds of stuff up there. Ambrose, as expected, was the first to reach a weapon, which was a mop. And then there was a pretty good spot where both guys were climbing up opposite ends of the cage. Ambrose came down with some nunchucks, and Jericho came down with the 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire. And they're staring at each other, and Jericho's yelling across the ring at him, "What are you going to do with that, huh? Do you see what I got? I got a big long stick with 2x4 on it, da-da-da-da. What are you going to do with that?" And all of a sudden, Ambrose whips into his nunchuck skills, which I don't think anyone had any previous knowledge of, but he's apparently pretty good with nunchucks. It was kind of like Michelangelo in the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, doing that nunchuck rap battle with that other Foot Clan guy, and he's just whipping these things around, and clearly he knew how to use it, so, like, holy crap. There's another point in the match where Jericho is screaming at the referee to unlock the door and let him out, and the referee's like, "The door is locked, I can't do that," and Jericho's like, "You're gonna get it." Jericho, he's such a goof when he wants to be. The crowd, you could pretty much hear crickets during this match. The crowd was not really into it. It was what it was. And then Ambrose went up and he got the bucket down from above the cage, opened the top of the bucket, pull out a black pouch, open the black pouch, and guess what's in there? Thumbtacks. So he spreads the thumbtacks down. This gets the crowd into it a little bit. And then there was a pretty good spot where Ambrose tried 3 different times in a row, 3 different ways to throw Jericho into the tacks, and Jericho just kind of spun around him and did whatever he had to do to get out of it. It was pretty good. Ambrose finally won after slamming Jericho into the thumbtacks and connecting with the Dirty Deeds. I don't know. I would have to give this one maybe 2.5 out of 5 stars. It was that boring. Even though I'm glad to see Ambrose win. Ambrose needed a win. It wasn't that good. It could have been better, I guess. I don't know. It was what it was, so we'll see. Then came the submission match for the Women's Championship. Charlotte versus Natalya. Ric Flair was banned from ringside, and if Ric Flair showed his face, that Charlotte would forfeit the title. So, booked to be a straight one-on-one match, finally. This match was okay, too. It wasn't as good as a lot of the women's matches I've seen this year so far. Toward the end of the match, Ric Flair's music played, And Natalya had Charlotte in the sharpshooter, and she immediately released Charlotte because if Flair showed his face, Charlotte was forfeiting the title. What did I say? Did I say Charlotte? Okay. If Flair showed his face, then Charlotte was forfeiting the title. So Natalya was basically like, "Hey, I won." And then someone came out dressed in a Flair robe and a wig, and it turned out it was Dana Brooke. Becky Lynch tweeted. Becky Lynch tweeted at Dana Brooke WWE, as a 67-year-old man, in fairness, it's an easy mistake to make. Good for you, Becky Lynch. I like that one. Anyway, it turned out it was Brooks dressed up as Flair, not Flair himself. This distraction allowed enough time for Charlotte to hit Natalya from behind and get her in the figure eight, and Natalya had no chance but to tap out. I give this one 3 out of 5 stars. It was all right. You're seeing a theme here. A lot of these matches are all right, as opposed to Payback when they were pretty good. So it is what it is. Not every show can be great. And then the main event, Extreme Rules match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. Styles was extra fired up in the beginning, like he was taunting Reigns and saying, "Come on, let's bring it." You know? Michael Cole said of AJ Styles, "We saw him use the steel chair on Raw, so we know he's capable of it." What the fuck does that mean, Michael Cole? That, like, you need some kind of degree in order to use a steel chair? I mean, he's capable of it? I'm sure Styles knows how to use a chair. Okay? In wrestling. Other than to sit on. Okay? I'm sure he knows what he's doing. The match went into the crowd, into the kickoff panel area. It went all over the place. Solid Monster was saying he was hoping it would go into the back, like backstage brawl style, but yeah, that didn't happen. Reigns hit a pretty damn good crucifix power bomb, sit out power bomb. It was pretty brutal, but obviously got a 2 count. And then there was this rough spot where Reigns caught Styles. Styles was doing a hurricanrana off the apron. Reigns caught him by the legs, whipped him into the ring apron head first, and then into the barricade, and then pulled him up and powerbombed him through the table, through an announcer's table that had not been cleared off, as they usually do. So yeah, that was brutal too. Styles took the majority of the punishment in this match. Like, he took all the high spots, which is just insane. I have to credit Styles for working really hard. I mean, Styles always works hard, and so does Reigns, you know. But he was really flying all over the place in this one. At one point in the match, there was dueling AJ Styles and Roman Reigns chants, although the Styles chants were definitely drowning out the Reigns chants. Everyone knows my feeling on hating Roman Reigns. I think you guys are fucking stupid. How about that? You like that? Too bad. 2014 Royal Rumble. I said it before, I'll say it again. He's one of the final 2 guys in the ring with Batista. You guys are cheering and chanting his name to win. And of course he didn't. 2015, he's about to win and you're booing him. You guys are fucking stupid. You say he can't wrestle, that's also bullshit. Okay, I'm getting off on a tangent here. Alright. Moving along. I'm being told by my invisible director to move it along. The club interfered as expected. And then the Usos came out and they took turns trying to get their guys over, and it didn't happen. Reigns hits a Superman punch on Anderson and Gallows and went for the spear. Styles countered with the Styles Clash and only got a 2 count. Styles went for the Clash again on a steel chair, but Reigns kicked out again. And then Styles went nuts. Styles got hold of the steel chair and he hit Reigns and he hit the Usos over and over and over and over again. The crowd went insane. Then Styles went for the phenomenal forearm, but Reigns speared him in midair for the victory. Roman Reigns still the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I'm sure a lot of people, I'm sure, are disgusted. Too fucking bad, I say. Reigns works hard. He deserves it. However, I have to say, I mean, this is the 3rd straight pay-per-view loss for AJ Styles. I mean, where did they go from here with him? I mean, I'm sure they got something planned. I'm sure he's moving on to something else now. I don't think they're going to do Reigns Styles 3, although it's possible, but I don't see it. As a matter of fact, I can almost guarantee they're not, because as Reigns was celebrating in the ring, Seth Rollins made his return, attacked Reigns from behind and hit him with a pedigree, and it was easily the biggest pop of the night. Yeah, by far, definitely the biggest pop of the night. So I think it's pretty obvious they're going to go into Reigns, Rollins. So it'll be interesting to see where Styles goes from here. I like to see him stay at that upper mid-card level, main event level. But I think it's time Reigns. And Reigns and Rollins is going to be freaking good anyways. That's going to be... They can stretch that one out 2 or 3 pay-per-views if they want to. So yeah, if I had to rate this show, I would give it 3 out of 5 stars. Like I said, not as good as Payback, but it's still definitely really good. A side note that I have not heard so far today: no appearance from the McMahons at all during this pay-per-view. That's pretty impressive, and I'm glad for that. There was a lot of talk that the Reigns Styles match at Payback was somewhat marred, and I agree, somewhat marred by the appearance of Stephanie McMahon and Shane McMahon. It became about them. It wasn't about the match. It wasn't about the title. Again, I agree. This match was different. There was none of that. There was, of course, interference. There was expected to be interference between the club and the Usos, and there was, and but it really didn't. It didn't take away from anything, I don't think, this time around. So yeah, 3 out of 5 stars. Next pay-per-view up is Money in the Bank. I think Raw tonight will be interesting. Expect Seth Rollins to come out first and get a huge pop. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how that goes. Oh yeah, on a side note before I go, this is being reported all over the place. Cody Rhodes asked for his release from WWE. Apparently, he had been pushing for a long time, especially after his father passed away. Actually, no, I have that wrong. I'm sorry. He'd been pushing for a while that he wanted to go back to being Cody Rhodes instead of Stardust. And Vince and Triple H said no. And I guess there was a lot of outcry as to, after Dusty Rhodes passed away, that Cody should go back to being Cody Rhodes instead of Stardust. And Cody was like, well, I don't want to use my father's death to get this push or whatever. He still wanted to be Stardust. I respect him for that. I respect him for that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just because, I don't want to say just because and minimize the effect. Dusty Rhodes' death was shocking to all of us. But, he can honor his father's death any way he wants. And he doesn't have to go back to being Cody Rhodes to honor it. So, but Cody Rhodes is a talented individual. What the fuck is going on with WWE right now? Seriously. I mean, I just tweeted at WWE. I said, man, now Cody Rhodes, you ever feel like the wheels are falling off? The Cody Rhodes problems, the Ryback problems. They just released 8 superstars, one of whom was kind of shocking. I only say one because Wade Barrett had been wanting his release, so that's not as shocking. But Damian Sandow, of course, very shocking. They're just getting rid of all these talented guys, and why? And what's the big deal? I mean, what if Rhodes goes to them and asks if he can be Cody Rhodes again? They say no. Why? They weren't doing anything with the Stardust character. So why not let him go back to being Cody Rhodes? It doesn't make any sense. Let's say the Adam Rose stuff too. I'm an Adam Rose fan. I wish his party gimmick would have gone a little bit farther. I mean, he wouldn't have been world champion or anything, but it was an entertaining part of the show. Violated the wellness policy, so they say, even though WWE supposedly knew he was taking medication for ADHD. and then he got arrested. So, Rose's career is probably over. I talk about wasting his talent. I mean, before he violated the wellness policy, obviously with him getting arrested, it makes good business sense to not associate themselves with him. But it is what it is. So yeah, that's all I got. Yeah, questions or whatever, you can leave them on my Twitter or on my Bobby's World Facebook page. I hope you guys enjoy this, and we'll see what happens at Raw tonight. Maybe I'll do a show on it tomorrow. We'll see. But until then, it's Bobby's World, and you're all just living in it.